What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I just got finished watching ESPN Friday Night Fights. The main event was Billy Dib versus Mexican Russian Gradovich, and it went the distance. It was 12 rounds. It was some back and forth action, um, and it ended in a split decision. All three judges scored at 114 to 112, but it was a split decision. One judge had, or two judges had Gradovich winning, and then one judge had Billy Dib winning. But in my opinion, I don't think it should have been a split decision. I think Gradovich on all three judges' scorecards should have been up. The only thing I think that might have been the difference is the amount of rounds he was up by. But I think three should have scored it for Gradovich. I just think he exercised a will to win. He showed more heart, and realistically, he fought like he was the champion more so than Billy Dib. Um, that's just my honest opinion. I just felt like he was trying to let his hands go more. If you even watched the 12th round, Billy Dib, toward the end, he knew the bell was going to ring, and there was like, um, I don't know, 20 seconds left in the fight. And in my scorecard, on Teddy Atlas's scorecard, we all had Gradovich up, and he just stopped throwing, and it was like he was just waiting for, like a kid in elementary school waiting for the bell to ring for recess. It looked like, I mean, he just stopped throwing punches. Um, Whereas Gradovich was just showing more heart, and I think he did more. He was outlanding him. I think most rounds, CompuBox wise, he was busier. The fight did get a little messy and sloppy at points because there was some holding, and in one round, both fighters were deducted a point for holding. At first, Gradovich lost a point, and Robert Garcia, who trains the Mexican Russian Gradovich, his face was priceless. He looked pissed, like fuck you. Like he looked really pissed that the ref pulled a point or deducted a point. And then later in that same round, the ref deducted a point from Billy Dib. So good job to Robert Garcia. It looks like he has been making quite the stamp. Nonito's been doing great. Brandon Rios had a great win over Mike Alvarado last year, and I think this is his first fighter fighting this year, big fighter at least. Um, and they pulled off the win, and they captured the IBF championship from Billy Dib, and I was impressed. It was a decent fight. I'm looking forward to the fight card tomorrow with Richard Abril, Gary Russell Jr. So this was definitely a good fight. Just like a good little Friday starter fight to get me prepped for the fight that I want to see even more, which is tomorrow's Showtime card. But again, props to Robert Garcia. He's working with these fighters, and you can see he's leaving his mark. Gradovich is a fighter who hasn't been past the 11th round, or he hasn't been to the championship rounds, 11th and 12th rounds, so they didn't know how he would do stamina wise. And again, I think he fought with a level of tenacity and a level of just dedication and will to win, which is why I think he persevered. Whereas Billy Dibbs looked like he didn't really seem like, especially later in the fight, it didn't look like he was fighting like a true champion, like just putting it all out there. He wasn't putting his punches together, and the more devastating shots looked like Gradovich, and Gradovich was applying a smothering, nonstop pressure. So all in all, I think all three judges should have had Gradovich up by some amount of rounds, um, and I'm just glad the right man won, because when they said split decision, I was like, oh, I hope they don't keep Billy Dib championship when he doesn't deserve it. What does this mean for Billy Dib? Really, I don't truthfully know. Um, I was never high up on Billy Dib. I think at 126, it's not a stacked division as stacked as 140, but even if he won this fight, he captured the split decision. I see him getting beat by pretty much all the big names in 126. That's my honest opinion. Mikey Garcia, I think, will probably knock him out. The Gradovich looks like he had, if anything, mediocre power, but it didn't look like he had devastating punching power. But I mean, as far as you look at some of the guys, I would say Gradovich. Excuse me, Billy Dib. I think he would get probably knocked out by Ponce de Leon, and probably get knocked out by Mikey Garcia, most likely. I don't think those fights will go the distance, because it looked like in round five, Gradovich with mediocre or average power had him looking like he was hurt in some of the punches that these guys were landing. were rocking Billy Dibb's head back. So honestly, I see him getting crushed by those types of people. Abner Mars just moved up to 126. Um, I don't see him beating Abner Mars either. Abner Mars is another fighter who's been through the championship rounds. He fought Joseph. His resume as a professional is great. I mean, he's fought people like Agbeko, Vic Darchinyan. He's fought Moreno, the Panamanian fighter. So I think he would have done better than the Gradovich, because Gradovich had never even been to this point. He had never earned a championship. He had never been past a certain round. He hasn't been to the championship rounds, and he still fared pretty well against the champion Billy Dibbs. So imagine a guy like Abner Mars, even though he's new in the weight. I mean, come on. I think he would just apply. It'd be similar to the Gradovich in terms of Abner Mars would like apply that smothering, nonstop, relentless pressure, but it would be a lot more skilled, and Abner Mars might even have more power than the Gradovich guy. But I think Abner Mars would be a lot more accurate and just a lot more comfortable than the Gradovich. There are points where Gradovich and Billy Dibbs appeared to be off balance from throwing punches, and a lot of the Gradovich guys' punches were like wild, and a fighter with more, like if Nonito were to move up into to 126, or like a Rigondeaux moved up to 126, they would probably catch both of these fighters, Billy Dibb and especially Gradovich, because his punches are too wide. So I think someone as quick as Nonito or quick as Rigondeaux would just like clobber them, just because they're so quick and they're counter punchers, and they would make them pay for their mistakes. So to me personally, it was a matter of time for Billy Dibb before he came out the belt, because I think there's too many threats. Like I said, Ponce de Leon, Mikey Garcia, Abner Mars, and if Rigo or Nonito move up to 126 in the near future, I think all those guys beat Billy Dibb. So it's not looking too good for SMS Promotions and 50 Cent. Something special, man. Sorry, I had to do my 50 laugh. But yeah, it's not looking good. Gamboa's first performance, he looked suspect. His first fight back, I mean, it was a 15-month layoff, so maybe that has something to do with it. But then immediately after, he has this, he's been implicated in a PED scandal in Miami, so we don't know what's up with that. Billy Dibb just lost his championship. I think Andre Darrell is still with him. I think he might actually be like scheduled to fight sometime soon. I got to research that. But it looks like that's his only really viable option as far as the fighters that I know he has. Darrell, let's see what Darrell can do, but I don't know. I just it doesn't. It's not looking good. And I said this before. It's not really looking good for SMS Promotions. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of SMS Promotions, 50 Cent as a boxing promoter. What you guys think of tonight's fight? And that basically sums it up for me. We have a new IBF champion, and that's Gradovich. So props to him. Props to Robert Garcia and his gym. And looking forward to tomorrow's fights. I'll try to get a prediction video in on that. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Let me know what you think. Until next video, it's Ego, signing off.